Today's review is the first beer from the new birthday beers from Polly's Brew Company. Every one of these beers is a collaboration project. I've got 4 different beers. I've got 2 IPAs, a double IPA and a West Coast Pale. The one we're going to do today is this one. Now this is called Hidden Talents. It's in this sort of, I don't know, fairly sort of boring black can for Polly's. It's with Uncharted Brew Co. Don't know anything about that. I believe they're a very small brewery. But this is part of their 6th birthday collaboration series. I bought 4 of them. There's actually 6 for the 6 years. The other one is a stout and the other one is a sour, but I didn't get those ones. I just got the IPAs and the double IPAs and the pale ales. So this one has got Amarillo, Cascade, Nelson Sauvin, Strata, Racal and Waima. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different hops for every year that Polly's have been going. So let's crack it open, get it in a glass, take my glasses off and see what it's all about. I'm quite excited about these. It seems that there's been lots of different stuff released in January, which seems a crazy month. But I picked up these. I thought I'd pick up 4 of these to review because I'm sure they're going to be good. And obviously some of the pedigree that who they're brewing with is good. I mean, obviously you've got Track and Left-Handed Giant, 2 big sort of ones, and then obviously giving a bit of showcase to smaller breweries like the other one, the Indie Rabble is the one which is the West Coast Pale, and obviously this one being Uncharted Brew Co. Never heard of these people before, but beer in a glass. Well, look at that. It's custard in a glass. That's what it is. You know, it's a straw-coloured, custardy-coloured yellow IPA. We've got a finger of head. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a top up there. Yeah, I mean, it's a finger of head. I wouldn't say it was that compacted. That won't last very long, but the colour looks beautiful. And obviously I'll put it in these poly glass. Looks even better, doesn't it? It looks the part. Looks what you would expect from a very good quality IPA. Let's see what the aroma's like. Oh, it smells good. Yeah, it's definitely got a lot of those aromas that you would expect with New Zealand hops. Obviously, we've got Nelson Sauvin. We've got, what was the other ones? Waima and Racal. So you're getting the white grape, you're getting the melon, gooseberry. It's grapefruit. It's very much big on a citrus sort of fruit, sort of lemons and limes. A little bit of tropicalness in there. But there's loads of hops going into this. When you think of Amarillo, which usually brings much more orangey sort of aromas and flavours. Cascade, a bit of a general tropical. Nelson Sauvin and Waima and Racal being the New Zealand ones. Then you've got Strata as well, sort of bringing in a little bit of that sort of... Yeah, there is a little bit of a... It's like a little bit of a spice. A bit peppery. A bit of something a little bit stronger, you know, like which Strata gives that, usually that sort of slightly sort of cannabis sort of aroma. Anyway, let's drink it. Cheers, everyone. Oh, that is really, really nice. Smooth, creamy mouthfeel. Hardly any carbonation. It's like drinking juice. Yes, medium. I'd say a medium body. It's quite light, but actually, just the texture of the mouthfeel is very pillowy, so it gives a little bit more weight, really. In terms of the flavours, there's a lot of different hops going into this, and sometimes when you've got lots of hops, you can get a little bit of a muddle. But really, what you've got in here is more complexity. You're getting that sort of, it's very sort of New Zealand flavours in there, you know, like your gooseberry, the white grape, the melon, kiwi fruit, grapefruit coming in. There's lime that sort of cuts through that flavour. There's a little bit of earthiness, a little bit of dank earthiness, but it's very subtle, and I think that's Strata doing that work. But it's I mean, usually I look at Strata hop and I'm not a massive fan of it, but if I see it in a mix of other beers, I think it can do some really great work. It can bring back some of those flavours of some other hops, and it can just give a balance to the beer, and that's what's happening here. I'm not getting much from the Amarillo. I mean, Amarillo's always, for me, always a bit orangey and maybe a bit of passion fruit, but it's not in this. I'm not getting much of those flavours. I'm getting a little bit of that sort of peppery spice that you get from the. I think Raquel usually has that little peppery spice, which is quite different. You know, it's a bit of earthiness, but a bit of, almost like sometimes a bit white peppery. That's a slight vegetable sort of spring onion, but it's quite subtle, and I think it's just one of those flavours that I get to the point now where I sort of associate that with the with New Zealand hops. But it's a really well balanced, complex, but above all, tasty beer. I really like it with all those New Zealand hops. I mean, I've said it in many videos before. I'm a massive fan. I haven't had New Zealand hops for about 3 or 4 beers, which is quite a long time for me. And sometimes they can come in and they over dominate. And luckily I like the flavour, so I don't mind that over dominance. But here they're a little bit held back because we've got all those other hops doing some work as well. I think it's a well put together beer. It makes use of the hops. They're not too muddled. They're all sort of in there. I think, as I say, apart from Amarillo, which I'm not really picking out from this, I would have never guessed Amarillo if I had drank it blind. The other ones I am getting. Cascade is the other hop. I always find it weird what Cascade actually brings. I must look that up really, because you don't see it much. I know Polly's are one of those breweries that does use Cascade. I'm sure I think Cascade was in the Polly's supermarket one, which is the just two bodies. And you know what? I've just looked over because I've tidied my shelf up today. Let me just have a quick scoot around. I've tidied my Polly shelf up today. And I got rid of a lot of the beers, and so I can see a little bit more of my Polly's beers I've had. And you know, I said the Just Two Bodies, which is the one there, the supermarket one. It's got sort of red fire and sort of ice, blue ice, I suppose that says on the other side. But it's got a cloud or smoke or whatever. And I thought I definitely recognise that, the name and the beer. And I've just noticed I've got Just Two Bodies there. Ooh, there. In a black can with a pinky sort of thing. There's that one there. Pinky thing. Just Two Bodies. Actually, that says it's a double dry hopped IPA. So, and anyway, they use Cascade. I'm glad I've just suddenly seen that as I've looked over today. So where was I? Yeah, Cascade. I'm not sure what that brings, but Polly seems to be one of those breweries that uses it. I think other breweries like Cloudwater uses it a bit, but it's not a common hop. But I think it was used a lot more a few years ago when everything was Citra and Mosaic. But it's difficult to tell what it brings to it. But anyway, this beer is great. I mean, if this is the standard of the beers, then we're in for a treat. I did, looking at the hop profile and looking at the sort of ABV and stuff like that, I did think this one was going to be one that really appeals to me. And it's cracking. I love it. It's a great beer. So do yourself a favour, get these, because they're not that expensive. Usually when you get some breweries doing an anniversary birthday beer, you know, it's a bit hyped up a bit, and beer's a bit more expensive. But these was under £5. I think it was £4.50 or something like that. And I think that's really good value for an IPA. But I've whittled on and off. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Hidden Talents. This is a India Pale Ale, 6.6%, Amarillo, Cascade, Nelson Sauvin, Strata, Waima, Raquel. 6 hops, 6 great hops, make a great beer. Let's get some scores. Okay, starting with aroma. Appearance. Flavour. Value for money. My overall experience. And we top the scores up, and it feels like I've been saying this quite a lot, but it's another highly recommended beer. Total score off. It's a cracking beer. I mean, I expect it from Polly's, but this is a very, you know, it sets the benchmark for these birthday beers. It's got lots of hops in it, lots of flavour. It's gonna get a little bit more, a few more points from me because it's got lots of those New Zealand hop flavours that we get with New Zealand hops. That makes it better, but it's still a cracking beer. And if you're only going to buy one of them, I mean, I don't know what the other ones are like, but this is definitely worth getting. So yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think if you've got any of these birthday beers. And until the next one, you know what you do. Drink a craft beer and keep on rocking.